Hello, agentpreneurs, and welcome to episode 104 of the Daily List Report. As always, we've got an amazing guest for you today. We've got Gogo Bethke. She is a top agent. I'm going to introduce her in just a moment. While you're here, make sure you remember that we have a contest running, 3 $100 Amazon gift cards. All you have to do is click the link to the contest in the description, subscribe to the channel, refer your friends for more entries. Super easy to do. Help us grow this channel. This show is a labor of love for us to you, and it helps us continue to bring on amazing guests like Gogo because I know you love hearing from them. Gogo is the founder and owner of Gogo's Real Estate. She is based in Michigan. She's been in business since 2011 and made the top 3% in the nation the last 3 years in a row. We're talking $60 million plus in production, 200 plus transactions. It's fantastic. I'm going to pull up right here her Instagram, Gogo's Real Estate. We're going to link to this as well in the description. She's got a massive following, and as we talk about social media, these are the people to learn from. Look at what she's posting. Look at what she's talking about. Her website, is gogosrealestateteam.com. You can check that out. We'll link to that as well. And then we'll talk to her a little bit about this boot camp that she has, which is gogosbootcamp.com. We'll talk a little bit about that because she's very active in leadership and helping train people. And frankly, I'm just super excited to have this conversation. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Gogo on right now. Gogo, why don't you say hello to the agentpreneurs of ListReports?
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, Gogo, no, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know that you're crazy busy right now. There's so much going on. Every top agent I know is just running, day and night. In fact, if you don't mind, I just watched you eat a little bit of lunch because you haven't eaten all day and it's 3 o'clock on Monday, which is terrible.
My husband was like, do you want to eat tuna? That's all we have in the house. We don't have time to grocery shop. We don't have time to cook. I actually have a chef that brings us food, but she was on vacation last week, so we didn't have food last week. So we literally ran low on everything, and I was so hungry. And as I told you, we were rushing home. We had quite a few showings, and I'm scheduled down to the hour all day today, and barely made it home. I pulled in the driveway at 27, and our meeting was at 30. So
wow. Well, thank you for rushing back and doing this. Honestly, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and all of the agents who are going to listen to this show are deeply appreciative of people like you taking the time to share. But Gogo, here's where I want to start. I love it when my guests get a chance to introduce themselves. I want everybody to get a chance to get to know who you are. So why don't you take a minute or two and talk a little bit about your story and your background, and they want to know who Gogo is.
Sure. So Gogo is not my real name. It's actually Yunvir. I was born in Transylvania, Romania, and I always knew I'm going to live in America for some reason. I watched an Eddie Murphy movie when I was 8 years old in 1989, and I was like, I'm going to live wherever that guy is. So if anybody listening to this knows somebody who knows Eddie Murphy, please make the connection because I have to hug that man before I die one day.
Yes.
So I don't know. I love it here. We live in Pinkley, Michigan, a tiny little village. My husband is from Michigan. So you would think I conduct business in some big metropolitan area, but really not. We have a gas station and a grocery store and live off of a dirt road.
Wow.
So I got licensed in 2011. I was a part-time agent first. I'm a mom of 2 boys. They were 2 and 4 at the time. They're 13 and 11 right now. My husband worked corporate America 20 years up until November of last year, and then he quit. Now he's also a full-time realtor. So now we run a team that's called Gogo's Real Estate Team, and we do that together. I'm with a company called EXP. I've been here now for 2 years. Now we also have an overall organization or downline or team, nationwide team that we call Team Gogo, and we have over 240 some agents on, almost 250 here soon, and we sell real estate. And I did it with everything with social media. I don't run ads. So when I talk about social media and the power of it, just assume that I'm talking organic growth. I don't run ads for listings. I've never had, or buy-side transactions. All of my transactions came organically, and they all come to me.
So, Gogo, let's talk a little bit about that. Why is that, right? There's a lot of agents who talk about lead acquisition, paid lead acquisition, whether it's Zillow or whatever, and you've shied away from all of that. Why is that?
I wouldn't say shied. It was more of an ego. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not here. So the whole Zillow thing for me, and I don't care what Zillow, it could be anything else. Call it Pillow. I don't care. To me, the idea of feeding my hard work listings, and I worked so hard to get it. They reached out to me. Now I'm going to feed it with the power of IDX to Zillow for free. And then Zillow is going to give me the honor that I can buy my leads back for $4, $5, $7,000 a month. Hopefully somebody's okay. I'm like, hold on a minute. Didn't I just feed that to you? I literally fed it to you.
It's crazy.
And now you're going to charge me back for my own needs? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So I have never, it's against my religion. So cold calling, it's against my religion too, because I don't know why, even the moment before I was even anybody, not a top producer by any means, I always had a very hard time with, I am not begging someone for their business. They are lucky they get to work with me. And I always had that mentality, even when I didn't have $2 to my name and zero experience. And so I never cold called. I don't like to do that, and I don't want to learn that. So the next one was door knocking, and I was like, yeah, no. I'm 5'2", little blonde. No, I am not walking up to someone's door. Absolutely not. So those were all out of the option for me. So when I'm a researcher though too, so when I got my license, I went into the top producers' offices and I asked them what they're doing. Whatever they're doing, it's working. There's a reason why the top producers. So I realized they're doing a lot of things and I'm not willing to do. But at the same time, I am no loser. So when I set my mind to something, I will be on top of that list or not on the list at all. So or I leave real estate altogether, or if I'm staying, I'm going to have to find a way to win at it. And so I figured out I had no money. I had no desire to buy leads. I was not willing to cold call. I was not willing to door knock. And that left, and I had no sphere of influence. I'm not from here. I didn't go to college. I didn't have high school friends. I don't have cousins. I don't have a single human being on this continent of America that is related to me by blood, unless it's my own child. So I don't have the luxury of, I'm just going to call my cousin and see if he was in my house. Like, I don't have that. So that left me with nothing but social media. I figured all I have is working with people. No money that will give me safety.
That's fascinating. So that's really interesting, Gogo. So you went through this list, and what's interesting about this, Gogo, is that every agent needs to find their own playbook, right? Every agent has their own rules or their standards, or as you said, which was funny, your religion, right? Those weren't part of your religion, right? But you also, Gogo, must have had some level of internal confidence, right? Sorry, something's going on because these fire trucks keep going by the office here real quick. Hopefully everybody's okay. But here's the thing that's interesting about you, right? Is that you don't have a dollar to your name, and you're saying, hey.
I had nothing but an attitude.
You had what?
I had nothing but an attitude.
Nothing but an attitude, right? But that attitude was an attitude of confidence, right? You're like, you're lucky to work with me. And I don't want people to mistake that. I don't think you're saying that out of arrogance, right? I think you're saying that out of confidence. Like, I'm going to work hard for you, right? I'm going to do the best job possible. And you're lucky to get me because not everybody can have this. So can you speak a little bit about where that confidence came from?
That's a good question. I guess it comes from, I know myself and I know what I bring to the table and I know my work ethic and I know my hustle. And I know if I put my mind to something, you won't find another person that's going to work harder than me.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm no loser. So I cannot lose. I am the most, competitive person you'll ever meet in your life. Like my husband was talking about me to somebody last night saying how I won't let my children win in basement basketball. And he's like, just let the poor kid win. And I said, no, he's not better than me. He wins when he's better than me.
Right.
Until then he can practice. You know what I mean? So that is my personality. I'll tell you a story. So I got a referral back in the day. I was probably in my 4th or 5th year of real estate. And I got $1 million listing. Now, keep in mind, in our area at the time, the average pricing was between 180 and like 250.
That's
so
a big deal.
1.2 million listing is a big deal.
Yeah.
So I go to listing appointment, and it's a referral from an agent I actually never met. It's a LinkedIn connection. Never met him. He's about an hour that way in Michigan, and he didn't want to deal with it. He mostly does commercial. We just had a couple phone calls, hit it off, never met him. Makes this referral. Would I like to take it? I've never had $1 million listing.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to take it. So I go to the interview. And the sellers, it's Mrs. Seller and her daughter. And they asked me, so have you sold $1 million properties before? Have you sold any homes in our neighborhood? I was like, nope and nope. She's like, okay, then what gives you the idea?
Yeah, why are you here, right?
yeah, going to be able to sell this home for us? And I was so honest with them. And I said, listen, all of those other agents that are in the neighborhood, to them, you're a number. You are house number 527 they have already sold. Yes, they might have the experience and I don't have, but I can tell you I have the time and I have the drive that they no longer have.
Yeah.
And I got the $1.2 million listings and I sold it, listed it at 3:30 in the afternoon. I had a full price cash offer in 3 hours at 7.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I
So
mean,
I was honest.
What's that?
I knew what I can do, but I was honest about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think that's so important, Gogo, right? And this is where I think a lot of agents really struggle is they don't know where their next paycheck's coming from. You know, they get an opportunity that is, you know, for some people they think sort of outside of their capability even, right? And then they go in and then it becomes very clear in the interview. Let's say they got the interview, is they can't deliver that message with confidence because they don't understand where the true value comes from. And you rightly pointed it out. You said, no, I haven't sold $1 million home before. But like you said, I have the time, I have the energy, I have the drive. I'm going to win at all costs. And those things are powerful messages to a potential seller. And in your case, obviously it was successful. So I just think that's a really interesting point.
Yeah. There's a positive in every negative. So you have to look at it. Okay, what do I have? I know I don't have this, but what do I have?
Yeah, yeah.
That the other agent doesn't.
And you said something else, Gogo, which is really key, which is you said I was honest with them, and I think that's such an important point, right? I've seen agents go in and they smoke in mirrors and BS, right? And they're just trying to make themselves look better than they actually are, and it's because, as you said, there's another side to every coin, which is, no, I don't do 50 listings a year. That means I have time for you. And that honesty and that openness is something that I think really resonates with sellers, at least in this case. And so I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. I never sold $1 million listing. So to be able to say I've sold $1 million listing in 3.5 hours, biggest commission I've ever made.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. So I will definitely work really hard to make sure that happens. You can also say, hey, $1 million properties usually sit on the market for 6 months. Give me 1 month. What do you have to lose? Give me 1 month. And if I can deliver in that 1 month, then put it back on the market for 5 more months to the top producer.
It's actually a really good point as well, right? Give me a chance to prove that I can do what I say I can do. And if not, what have you lost here, right, in the process?
Put it back. It's going to sit on the market.
You know, I think in your boot camp, right, you're fond of talking about this idea that as a real estate agent, you're not selling real estate, you're selling yourself and you're selling your services. So can you elaborate a little bit on that? I think it's a really important point.
So when it comes to social media and some of the agents go wrong, of course, many agents get it right. But if you're just posting of your newest listings and the last open house and your latest closing, nobody cares. People in average are on the market for every 7 to 10 years for 6 months. Other than that, they could care less what the home values are worth unless they lost a job or unless the market is crashing. Other than that, everybody's just happy-go-lucky. So if all you do is real estate, you're going to bore them to life. They're not to death, I guess they say. They're not going to follow you. You have to give them a reason to follow you. So mine is not all real estate. Most of the time, I actually talk to the agent, which you get to that point where you become that expert. But when you become that expert, then they come to you. So by giving knowledge is what you want to do, is by showing the good, bad, and the ugly, showing the funny side of real estate. When you're showing a house and there's I showed this house one time, there was chains on each wall in the corner with a handcuff to it. I'm like, what the?
What?
What is this? Then I showed another house where in the basement, they had this soundproof room, but the lock was on the outside of the door.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, what the? So things like that. And then, of course, there are funny things. These were deep, funny things. There was one locker room in a living room of a house that said, this is where we lock our child in.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not kidding you. I called the cops as we walked out of there. I'm like, this is not going to dry on my soul. I'm going to make a call. You guys can do whatever you want with that. So everything, share everything, the good, bad, and the ugly. What does it take to be you? What does it take to be a really good realtor? What does it take to be a brand new realtor? That's how I started out. I'm like, what the heck am I going to talk about? I don't have a single listing.
Right.
I have zero experience. I don't even know what's going on in the Brighton market. So then I shared, guess what I learned today, guys? And I was like, when I got into real estate, I thought that the starter homes are going to be the ones bought up cash, and then the $1 million homes are going to be mortgaged. Hold on a minute, you can't even mortgage that, what I learned. Second,
Right.
those are the homes that are paid cash. And the starter homes, two people can barely qualify for a mortgage.
Right.
So
Right.
it was eye-opening. So all of these things that I learned as I was going along, unless we were talking investors, of course, I would share. And then people would learn with me. So when you're sharing that, when you're sharing your journey, you're also sharing your hustle. Because if you think about it, the people that know you, they know you just got into real estate. They're not
Yes.
going to buy a house from you. They want to see that you're going to stick it out for a while. Strangers are going to be like, well, I don't know her from Adams. She sounds like she knows what she's doing. They're going to hire you.
Yeah. Interesting. So, I'm pulling up your Instagram right here. And what's really interesting about your Instagram is it's exactly what you're talking about, right? I'm just kind of scrolling through it a little bit. Is you've got some real estate here, right? You've got some family posts with, I think these are your children, right? And you've got a lot of pictures of other people, other agents maybe. Can you talk a little bit about like how you think about what to post? Like what in your mind is the purpose of, in this case, your Instagram?
I like to use the word purpose. We don't post just to post. You always post with an intent. You want
That's right.
something out of that post. So right now we are going through a growing phase. So a lot of agents. So again, I'm with a company called EXP,
Yeah.
and we have to grow a team at EXP. Even though I don't take a cut and I'm not anybody's team leader, everybody's building their own empires, but they have to join with somebody. So they have to be like business partners. So these are my newest business partners. When they
Yes.
decide to switch over to EXP and join with me in business, I introduced them to the world and why they made the switch. So that's why you're seeing so many, because recently, I
Yeah.
don't know, everybody's coming to EXP, so it's wonderful. So we post a lot of that. Of course, we post our listings. We post beautiful homes. I post a quote every sixth post I make. It's a quote, and it's usually something that it talks to me. So then I usually speak my opinion on the subject. I post a lot of stories, so those are probably the most that I post. So if you click my profile picture, you'll see. And on any given day, I have anywhere from 10 to 14 stories. So then this morning,
Every day, 10 to 14 stories.
yeah, every day. So those are little snippets that agents get to, or anybody who's following me, or even if they're not agents, they get to see into my day what it takes to be me, what's
Yeah.
happening every single day. So like today, I woke up very early because we're coming out with a new course called Agent Attraction for Gogo's Bootcamp, and I had about 12 more videos I had to shoot. And this weekend was crazy. Everybody was buying the house or selling the house, so we were on appointment. And so I had no other time. And today I was scheduled down to the hour. I had no other time of waking up early in the morning to get it done. So I woke up early. I woke up at 7, enjoyed my coffee, and then I shot those videos. Then I showed, finishing work. Then I showed all the houses. And I got to show prior to this. We made an offer. We accepted an offer. Well, 2 offers got accepted. We made one now on the way home. Then I pretty much showed a little snippet when you introduced me. And here we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really great. I mean, it's when you're talking to a new agent, let's say it's a new agent on your team, right?
Yeah.
And let's just say that they're pretty new to the business and they look at you and they're like, I can't do that, right? Like, I can't possibly do that. How do you advise them? Where do they start? Where does somebody who's watching right now who doesn't have this, but who believes in it or wants to do this, where do they start? What do they do day one? What's that first step that gets them out of the gate?
We all get access to, but I want to, I usually would come up with the Ford quote that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yes, right.
But if you say you can't do that, you can't do that because you think you can do that. Now, I, on the other hand, think you can absolutely do that if you set your mind to it. You can do anything you set your mind to. So you set your own limitations. So I would talk about them right there and then. And then I will put Gogo's Bootcamp. So everybody that joins the company with me, their whole team will get Gogo's Bootcamp for free. So they would go through the whole bootcamp. So instead of me repeating myself, I'm going to say, go through the bootcamp. Right. It is hundreds of hours, hundreds and hundreds of videos of bootcamp, and it literally explains them how to do everything. But the basics, of course, is this. First and foremost, you have to understand you are your business. You are not selling real estate. You're selling yourself and your services. So get out of your head. Just when people say, well, I don't like the way I sound, or I don't like the way I look, guess what? Everybody who knows you knows the way you look and sound. Okay? And the people don't know you, I'm assuming you don't care about their opinion because you don't know them, they don't know you. So why on earth was that? Why are we even talking about it?
Right.
Okay? There's nothing you can do about the way you look and sound. That's who God created you to be, and God doesn't make a mistake. So rock it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my opinion about that.
No, that makes perfect sense.
You just, maybe it's a picture first. Maybe it's a clip that's 15 seconds long, and all you said is, "Hey guys, good morning." Maybe today you say, "Okay, today I'm going to do 30 seconds, and I'm going to talk about how I like to drink my coffee in the morning."
Right, right. And so you're talking about things that are very, it's who you are, right? So you're talking about revealing sort of who you are. Like you said, it could be something as mundane as how you take your coffee, but that's a chance to make a connection, and somebody's going to watch that and say, "Oh, I like her," or "I like him," or there's just something about that, right?
That's why I don't have to have a listing presentation, because they know they want to work with me before I ever step a foot in on the door.
Right.
And they know they want to work with me because I showed my good and bad and the ugly. I showed them I can have fun on the weekends. I showed that I'm freaking working at midnight, making offers. I showed that I'm a mom of 2 kids. I showed the hustle of running out of the door, walking the dog, grabbing my coffee, grabbing the kids, finding everybody in the car. So they see that you're showing who you are, what you stand for. They're going to find what they like about you or what they don't like about you. But this is the beauty of it. People that want to work with me reach out to me. And here's the part. They want to work with me. I don't have to convince them to work with me because they already made that decision. And also the ones that don't want to work with me, they just weeded themselves, because that feeling would probably be mutual. They don't want to work with me because they don't like me. And that means I wouldn't like you either. And that's why you don't like me. We don't have things in common. So if that's the case, you just weeded that experience out of the way, where we would have done this the whole time. And then I would have a 1-star review.
Right, right. And that takes, in and of itself, it takes confidence, right? Which is recognizing and realizing that just like the real world, not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay. And those people who don't like you, you probably also won't like, and we want to work with people that we like, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very interesting. So,
and I'm also not in the business of making friends. I'm in the business of making money.
Right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. So, Gogo, why don't you talk a little bit more about this boot camp? I want to understand it better. I pulled it up on the screen right now, and obviously we'll share the link to it. But how does this work? What does it cost? Talk a little bit about your boot camp.
Sure. So the boot camp started with, as you said, somebody named me the social media queen. I wish I knew where that madness started, but I don't know. So all of my production comes from social media. And because of that, I started getting invited to all of these like local events and the national events. And then last year I spoke in front of 6,000 agents in Vegas, teaching them the power of social media. Nice. So it got to the point where I was repeating myself, like all of my friends and people that I met through the industry, like, "Hey, Gogo, do you have a minute? Do you have 5 minutes?" And it got to the point where I'm explaining the same thing over and over again. So I was like, it's much easier if I just record myself and send you a recording. Right. And that will have the recording for everybody to be sent. So that's how the whole madness started. So then it first started out with Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3. So those are the basics, fundamental basics of not only, so when I call boot camp, social media boot camp, it's not just social media, because it's one thing, that's where all the leads come from. But then what happens when you generate those leads? What systems do you use? Yes. What does the automated drip campaign look like? What is your team built like? What is the cut? Do you have an assistant? Do you have a virtual assistant? Where do they come from? How do you pay them? How do you hold an open house? Do you hold an open house? Like all of those things, everything that you can possibly think of from mindset, because as you said, you have to have that confidence. 90% of your success is these 6 inches between your ears. I talk about the books that I read. There was like 80 videos about mindset alone, all of the life lessons that I learned in this industry, because trust me, it's a very cutthroat industry. Yes. You have to have thick skin to make it in here. So everything that I learned, instead of those agents having to go through and experience it themselves, they can learn it from my mistakes and my life lessons, business lessons that I have made. So there's like a mindset series. There's a bunch of different series. So the basics are Series 1, 2, and 3. They would go through those. They would literally set up everything that I have. I explain why you should have a business account. I explain how to link those things together. We talk about reviews and feedbacks and team building and passive income and you name it, everything from 0 to $1 trillion. And everything, literally everything that I have and I achieved in my career and how I've done it, from contracts to systems to apps to resources, you name it, everything's there. They even get my pricing, so all of the systems and applications than I use, they get preferred vendors pricing, I guess, because I get a discount for everything that I work with and I offer to the school, to the students. So that is probably over 200 different videos that they watch. So they go through different courses. So I teach the organic side of social media, but I understand that there is a paid side of social media, which they can also opt into. So inside the course, there's another course called Finesse. Finesse is the advertising side. So how to run after everything you have it built, because I don't want you running ads if you don't have your systems in place.
Yes.
Then you're spending money, throw it at the wind. So Finesse will teach you after you set everything up with the organic side of social media, how to do ads. But if you do organic right, you don't have to spend $1 million. You might spend $5 a day to generate 100 leads.
Yeah.
Because you already generated your audience, you already gained the eyeballs. So Finesse is also included. So the way this one goes, guys, you also get access to a Facebook group. You log in, you can ask any questions, there's support, and we also do once a month live where they have direct access to me and my digital marketer. So anything organic social media or advertising social media, they can ask questions. Also, every month we teach something different. When we go more into detail, we do hot seats where I pick certain agent, they have to sign up, and then we pick certain agent's account, and I literally go through and dissect their accounts and tell them everything they're doing right or everything they need to change. The price, we have 2 different versions. So it's $14.99 if you pay upfront, and it's lifetime access. If you think about it, Instagram changes their algorithm, Facebook changes their algorithm about every half minute. So we change rates. Things that I've done 2 years ago, it doesn't work anymore. So then I have to add, so we constantly add to the course. So $14.99 upfront cost will give you access to all this, plus it gives you lifetime access to the course with everything that will be coming out in the future that are part of Gogo's Bootcamp you're going to get. Also, there's additional courses, like we're coming out now with a agent attraction course that is a totally different thing. It's not a part of regular Realtor social media, but everybody who's already in the course will get 25% off if they want to learn agent attraction and grow a team. And then we also have, I've been a struggling agent, so I know what that's like. And so we broke it down to $297, 6 payments. I want to say it's 6 payments of $279. If they can pay for it upfront, then they can break it down to 6 payments.
Yes, it looks like it is 6 payments of $279. That's correct.
Yeah. And then that way they get, by the end of the 6th payment, they have lifetime access.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. Fantastic. No, I think that's really helpful. And I think, like you said, this stuff changes all the time, right? And so you're always having to refresh this content because, like you said, what worked 2 years ago doesn't work now. Speaking of that, and we can wrap up after this, but I have one last question for you, which is during the last 5-6 months now, right? Things have changed, right? With COVID and stay-at-home orders, and this varies across the country. But have you shifted your strategies at all as a result of this? Did you do different content? Like, what changes, if any, did you make during the last 5 or 6 months?
It's actually, for us, it changed to the better. Because if you think about it, I always ran business on social media, but prior to COVID, people would spend about maybe, 2, 3, 4 hours a day on social media. During COVID, everybody got to the end of Facebook.
It's very true. Well said.
They probably spend, average 6-8 hours a day on different social media platforms because everybody was bored out of their mind. Plus they were, trying to figure out which spectrum of the political thing they're on, and with everything else that's going on. So for my business, it was actually a blessing because we got so busy. We grew so much. Our team grew so much. I earned more eyeballs on my brand. So it totally, our production, our agent attraction, our team, it doubled in size. I can't even tell you, our heads are literally spinning at the moment.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, congratulations, that's great.
I don't even know 7, 8 transactions right now under contract in a week. It's probably 3 million, I don't even know. Wow,
that's amazing. Gogo, is there anything that I missed? Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
I think it's just, just to put it into people's mind that I think the people that are hung up with the whole social media thing are the ones that care too much about what people think. I could care less. Here's how I feel about that. Can I deposit your opinion into my bank account? Can I feed my children with your opinion? Can I go on spring break with your opinion? Oh, I can't? Okay, well, then it doesn't count.
Right. It's business.
It's business. And as soon as you accept yourself, you could care less what other people think. And then you can truly rock it. So then you present yourself as truly who you are, and then the people that are just like you, they're going to find you. They're going to love to work with you. But here's the thing: you have to build a brand, and you have to put yourself out there so they can find you. If you don't
100%
exist
agreed.
on social media, you don't exist to the millennial.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's such a basic thing, Gogo, but I tell agents all the time, just Google yourself, right? Because that's what other people are doing. If you haven't done that and you don't know what shows up, and you've got either no presence or a sad presence, right? Then there's a certain group of buyers, the largest group of buyers right now, millennials, to your point, who are going to judge you for that. Fairly or unfairly, it's just a fact, right? They're going to judge you as a result of that. So when somebody Googles you, Gogo, it's like, oh my gosh, she's active on Instagram and she's got this and that. And I mean, it makes a huge difference in people reaching out and wanting to work with you. So I love that approach.
Yeah, just close down. So the bootcamp also teaches you Google and how to show up on the first page by organic advertising. And literally just got a buyer pre-approved. I asked them, I always ask, hey, how did you find me? And she goes, well, I just Googled best realtors in Michigan.
Right. And there you were.
There I was.
Fantastic. I love it. All right, Gogo. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we get to talk to you again real soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Well, there you have it. Great episode, great guests. Gogo's fantastic. What's really interesting about this, when we talk about finding your own playbook, right, is Gogo has, actually, I've never heard this before, a very unique playbook. She's saying, look, I don't do paid ads. I don't do door knocking. I don't do cold calls, right? She's found a platform that works for her. That's something that she believes in, and she's doubled down on it. And this is where her business comes from. And equally as important, maybe more importantly, she has the confidence to do this. And this is something that I can't underscore how important this is. And it comes from, at least from her words, which I think is interesting. If you can't figure out a way to do it, then this is a great way, which is, this is business, right? There are people who aren't going to like you, and that's okay. And if it helps you to say, well, I wouldn't like them either, that's fine. It doesn't matter what it takes, but you have to put yourself out there. And I think Gogo's approach is interesting because it's done in a way that is very authentic. You can tell that she is a woman of hustle, right? And hard work and family and all of these things sort of rolled into one. So that's fantastic. But anyways, that's our show for today. Again, make sure you check out Gogo's links below. Here's her Instagram again. It's a great place to start. Check out her bootcamp as well. And until tomorrow, as always, be safe, be healthy, be happy, work hard, get after it, and figure out who you are and find that confidence. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.